Welcome back everyone, and thanks for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to be rigging some soft plastics. Now these are going to be a lot of what you've seen if you watched my last video, like the Z-Man plastics and some of the Nico products, which is what I throw the majority of the time, but I do throw other plastics as well. But I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you how I rig these baits. Most of the time, guys, I try to use a Texas rig. It is a weedless presentation. That's what I like about it, because a lot of places that I fish, a lot of rivers that I fish in, there is a lot of snags. There's a lot of things to get hung up on, and this way I can get a lot more fishing done without the downtime. I don't want to spend all day breaking off. I don't want to spend all day retying my line. And there's a couple other ways I hook these plastics, and that is a simple Wacky Rig and a Ned Rig. I'm going to also show you how to rig, or how I rig, the Kitech swim baits. It is a little bit different, but guys, generally this is how I rig most of my plastics, without the exception of the tube. This is going to be the first time that I have thrown a tube for smallmouth. We'll see what happens. There's a couple different ways that I'm going to do it, but guys, let's hop right into it. Let's just start with a simple Wacky Rig. I've been throwing these 4 and 5 inch dingers. Been throwing this crazy color, this bubblegum lemon swirl, and I've been catching smallies on it. And already caught a good one. In fact, the first smallmouth of the year I caught on this Wacky Rig using a 1/10 ounce Ned head. I know there's different ways to do it. You can use the O-ring and all this fancy stuff, guys. I just take a Ned head to get a little weight down, because this does sink kind of slow, and I'll just take the 1/10 ounce Ned head and just hook the worm right in the middle. And you know, it's pretty simple, but that's how I do it. I throw both the 4 and the 5 inch, and that's the kind of action you get on the fall and just twitching it. But this is deadly. I didn't even start throwing a Wacky Rig until last year. My buddy Teddy was telling me about it. He was throwing it early last spring, and I've been throwing it ever since. I've caught trout on it. I've caught bass. And as you can see right here, I caught my first big smallmouth of the year on this Wacky Rig, this dinger. That one was 17 inches. That was a good fish, and that was my first ever smallmouth in January, and we caught that on the Wacky Rig. So I'll be throwing more of it. I've been kind of playing around with the colors. I know this is kind of crazy, but guys, it does catch fish. All right, let's go ahead and move on to some of the creature baits here. I guess you would call this a creature bait. Last year, if you've watched my videos, you'll know that I threw the Z-Man hogs. First time ever just experimenting with these things. And guys, I caught a lot of smallmouth. But this is the hogs on steroids, if you ask me. This is the boar hogs. And that's a California crawl by Z-Man. And what I'm going to do, what I thought about doing with this, is just taking a 1/16 ounce offset hook there and just Texas rig this, and there's how I'm going to do it. But I'm going to go in about 1/4 of an inch and come out. Line this up. Could have went in probably a little bit more straighter. Let's try that again. And the good thing about these plastics, if you mess up and you just try to do it again, you're not going to tear the plastic up. But let's just try it again here and see how this works out. But I thought this would be a good way to rig this bait, and you can see where you need to go in on your hook. Just go in the bottom and come out the top, and you've got your bait right there, just like that, on a 1/16 ounce weight. And I thought that would be deadly. And moving on to the next one here, and these plastics are awesome, guys. They are durable and they do last. One thing I've never thrown that I'm going to throw this year, I don't know if this is going to be too big. I don't know. It may be perfect. It may be the perfect size, but that is a 6-inch lizard. Green Pumpkin by Z-Man. You can't tell me a big smallie's not going to hit that. But I'm going to probably hook it and rig this the same way. Go in, probably a little better than 1/4 inch. Some of these baits you're going to go maybe a 1/2 inch. Some you're going to go 1/4. But on this one right here, you can see where you need to go in at using this same hook. Just go in the bottom, come out the top, and right there is your bait with a 1/16 ounce weight. And if you don't want to use any weight, just don't use any weight, and you can use these weightless. But they will float, guys. You might be able to bounce it across the top of the water. But I can't wait to start throwing these lizards and see if we can catch some fish on it. All right, let's go ahead and go to the big hellgrammite, the Nico hellgrammite. I can't wait to throw this bait, man. This is the black obsidian, and generally what I do on this is have to use a little bit more weight. I use the 1/8 ounce bullet style hook on this. I think this is a number 2 size hook, and it actually works out pretty good. But as you can see and how this is made, I'm gonna probably have to go in about a 1/2 inch, a good 1/2 inch on this hellgrammite. So let's try that and see how this works out. This is some pretty tough stuff, so it takes a little bit of pressure to get that through. But these are some good hooks, guys. These are the Bass Pro Shops Enticer hooks, the bullet style. But anyway, you can kind of see what that looks like right there. And we're going to go in. It's got a nice little slit on the back where you can rest your hook, and like I say, run this weedless, which is what I'm going to do. And it just doesn't get much better than that right there. And that is a 1/8 ounce weight. I've tried a 1/16, and it's just not heavy enough to get the bait down. This seems to work pretty good. And when you hook them on this, when you stick them with that hook, guys, a lot of times, I would say 95% of the time you get them in. But that's how I'm going to run it, and that is the big Nico hellgrammite. And moving on to another Nico product here, and this is one I did not show in my last video, but this is the Nico Leach. Look at that, man. That is the black obsidian. This is the 3.8 inch, and I'm probably going to rig this like I probably would the lizard or the boar hogs, and that is with the 1/16 ounce. Seems to work pretty good. I think the 1/8 is a little bit heavy because there's not a whole lot of plastic right here like they are with the hellgrammite. But anyway, I'm going to rig this up, Texas rig, and I'm telling you, I caught a lot of fish last year on this. This has become one of my favorite baits. If you've never thrown the Leach, guys, you need to try to throw the Leach. And they make this in a lot of different colors, but this is the black obsidian, and it is a 3.8 inch. And that's how I'm going to run it. Pretty simple. Just Texas rig it, and that 1/16 ounce works really well with this Leach. But they come in a lot of different colors, and it's one of my favorite baits. All right, let's move on to some swim baits. I'm going to throw, this is the Minnow Z. I've never thrown the Minnow Z. This is just a little smaller version of the Diesel Minnow Z, which is a 4-inch bait. But anyway, you can rig them the same way. And usually what I do on these Z-Man plastics, I've got these new chin lock hooks. I think they're going to work really good with the Z-Man products. This is a 1/8 ounce, what they call chin lock weighted hook. And I thought it would be perfect on these swim baits. Let's rig it up on this 3-inch and see what it looks like. But I think this is going to work perfect. You don't have to go in very far, and you can actually pull this up over the weight, this plastic. And when you get here, just go over the keeper right here, and I think it's going to work out pretty good. And guys, we'll just go in right here. If I can go in straight and just rig it like that right there, man, that looks perfect. And that is a 3-inch Bad Shad Minnow Z by Z-Man. Cannot wait to throw that. But that's how I would do it. Let's put this on the 4-inch Diesel Minnow Z and see what it looks like. You may have to play around with the sizes. You may have to go up a size or down a size. But let's do the Diesel Minnow Z and see what happens here. Again, you can bring that up over the weight, up over the keeper, and just be real careful. It will come off the end there. But anyways, guys, that's how I'm going to do it. And you see where you need to go in? This does have a slit on the bottom, so you can let it rest right there. You see where you need to go in? And on the top, guys, I'm a little crooked here. Let's try that again. And just go in. This has got a nice place on the top too for the hook to rest, but it's not the best job hooking it, but that's how it looks like on the Diesel Minnow Z, the 4-inch. So you got to play around with the sizes. I think with the bigger 4-inch, I could go up a size probably in that hook. But on the Bad Shad 3-inch Minnow Z, I think that would work out perfect. Now, moving on to the Ned Rig. This is something I didn't start throwing until a couple years ago. Basically, it's just a small stick bait. This is a Finesse TRD by Z-Man in the copper truce color. But there's a couple ways you can do this. Probably what I would do, this is pretty buoyant, so you need a little weight. You can use a lighter weight, but I generally like anywhere from a 1/16 ounce. This is a 1/10 ounce. I think this is perfect. I usually don't go any heavier than this, but you can basically just Ned rig this, and I'll show you how to do that. Is I think a green pumpkin head, so it's going to match up really good with this copper truce color. But you can kind of see, you can kind of line it up there, guys, and see where you need to go in or where you need the hook to come out, and we'll see what happens here. Just make sure you try to keep it straight as you can. Come out right there. Some people will mark the spot, but it's going to look something like that. It's probably not the best Ned rig in the world, but that is one way to do it, and that will catch a lot of fish. The only downside of this, with that exposed hook, you do get snagged. But probably way I'll fish this. This is one option. One other option on how to fish this is with the bullet style. This is really specifically designed for the Ned rig baits, particularly the Z-Man products. But if you can see, I think this is a 1/10 ounce weight hook, and you can kind of see how that is set up. And this bullet style, I think, is probably how I'm going to fish this, because this way it'll give me a weedless presentation. And like I said earlier, in a lot of places I fish, there's a lot of stuff to get hung up on. But I'm just going to go in just maybe a 1/4 inch, maybe not even that much. And I'm going to show you. You can pull that up over the keeper. You can kind of see where you need to go in at. If you just try to keep everything straight, it will work out. Let's see how it looks here. But that is kind of how I would do it. But there is a Ned rig weedless on the Finesse bullet style, and that's probably how I'm going to fish it, guys. I mean, you can't beat that right there. That is the copper truce, and the bass absolutely love that color. Now, one thing I have not thrown, and we are going to throw, and that is the Goat Toads Topwater Frog by Z-Man. That's a 4-inch in the white color, and I think I've never tried it yet, but they say put a 5/0 hook on this. And let's just see what happens. We're going to Texas rig it, guys. There is the 5/0 hook. That's what I'm going to be using to rig this Goat Toads. But anyway, I'm going to go in right in the center, maybe a 1/2 inch, maybe not that much, and come out. You can see right there. Run it down the hook, and you got it lined up like that, guys. You got the belly. Just line your hook up, and you can kind of see where you need to go in at. And I think this is going to be nice. And there you got your topwater frog, and that is a 5/0 hook. I think that's going to work pretty good. If you want to bury that in the plastic, you can. But right there, you don't need to add any weight. That's going to float. You can burn that across the water. You can stop it. That's a good thing about a toad that floats, is you can pause your bait. You can stop it, kill it, you can burn it, you can do whatever you want to. But with that zoom, it would sink. So I can't wait to throw the Z-Man Goat Toads and see if we can catch a smallie on this. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the Kitech swim baits. And this is something that I really got hooked on late last summer, and I threw it just about all year long. But this right here is the 3.3-inch Fat Swing Impact in the sexy shad color. This Usually what I do with this is use these weighted hooks with the screw lock. You can see right there is what I have been using, and this size right here I think is the 3 size. But what you want to do, the biggest thing about this is getting this screw directly in the center of this bait. So what you want to do is go right through the nose and try to keep everything straight. Just keep twisting it all the way up till you come to the end. You got to line everything up. You might need to go another twist or half a twist to get everything lined up. But that's kind of how you want to do it. And you just line your bait up like you do with everything else Texas rigged, and just go in the bottom and come out the top, and you have your swim bait by Kitech. And this right here, you can use a number 3/0 hook, a number 4/0 hook, depending. They make the 3.8, they make even bigger swim baits. But guys, that's generally how I rig it, and that is the Sexy Shad by Kitech, 3.3 inch. All right, guys, moving on to something that I have never thrown, and that is the tube. This is a Strike King. These are the coffee tubes in the green pumpkin. That is 3.5 inch. One way I'm going to probably rig this is with a standard tube jig head, 1/8 ounce. I think what a lot of guys do is cut a slit in the back. I don't have scissors right now, but I think that would be a good idea, because this way the hook doesn't have to penetrate both sides of the plastic. But anyway, you just slide that all the way up to the end and you push the eyelet through, guys, and there you have it. That is one simple way to rig the tube. You do have an exposed hook. You're going to have a lot better hookup ratio, so there is one way you can do it. And another way I would like to try to hook this, we'll see how it works, and that would be to Texas rig this tube. I'm thinking maybe a number 3 size hook. I might have to go up to a 4. 4 might be too big, but let's just see how it would work out here and if it will work. I think I've seen guys do it like this, but you can kind of see what you need to do, where you need to go in. And we're going to go in the bottom, we're going to come out the top. And we're going to have ourselves a Texas rig tube here. That's the green pumpkin coffee tube, guys. And you could actually put some, well, let me slide that back up. There we go. That looks a little bit better. But anyways, guys, you can Carolina rig that. You can put a weight right here, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just play around with the weights. I'll probably start with the 1/16 ounce. And we'll see how it works. We'll go with the 1/8. And I think that's going to be incredible. Anyways, I cannot wait to throw this. I think that's going to be the perfect color. But I just was hoping I could Texas rig this. And I have seen people Texas rigging a tube. I know there's what they call the stupid tube, which is a little bit more difficult. But I'll probably just put me a weight up here. We'll start with the 1/16 ounce and just move maybe to a 1/8 and try them and see what works. But I think this is going to be killer for the smallmouth. Okay, another tube I have here, and this is something that I haven't thrown, but this is a little bit smaller tube. This is the 2.75 inch green pumpkin by Z-Man. And I noticed the nose up here is a little solid. The most of it is a hollow body, but up here it seems like solid plastic. And you can do these a couple different ways. Probably what I'm going to do is use the same hook that I used on the stick bait, the Ned Rig, but just with the finesse head. And this way I can Texas rig it and run it weedless. And let's just see how it works. I think it's going to work out good. But I hate getting hung up. I hate having to retie line. But anyway, I think this is going to be pretty good, man. That's a green pumpkin head. Let's just try here, guys, and just see what this looks like. Right there with the bullet finesse head, running it weedless, Texas rigged, is the Z-Man tube. And if you want to just put a regular Ned head, you can do that as well. But your hookup ratio will probably be a lot better. But anyway, you can just Ned rig it right there. That's with the 1/10 ounce. But just gives you a couple different options there. I cannot wait to throw these. I don't know how good I'm going to like. We'll see which tubes I like better. Seems like these appendages here, these tentacles are kind of sticking together, unlike the other tube. But we'll see what happens. This will give me two different options. This is the 2.75 inch, and this one right here is the 3.5 inch, and you can see the difference. Okay guys, just a couple more here that I'm going to go over. You probably know of the Z-Man crawl. This is a killer bait, and this right here is a killer color. This is the green pumpkin orange. This is a 2.75 inch Z-Man crawl, TRD crawl. And guys, you can just use the Ned Rig, the 1/10 ounce, which would be perfect for this. If you want to, you know, just Ned Rig it. But it's one way to do it. I've caught a lot of fish doing it, guys. It's a simple, easy way to rig your bait. And that is a killer smallmouth bait, I'm telling you. But if you don't want to do it like that, you can do that. You can hook this on the finesse. Where is it? The finesse bullet style head that we used earlier. And that's probably the way I will do it. It's just a couple different options, and you know, your hookup ratio is not actually going to be as good if you have the exposed hook, but you also take a risk of getting hung and snagged and all that kind of stuff. But you can run it weedless right there. You can Texas rig it, and I think that's going to work perfect. Perfect color on the green pumpkin head with the green pumpkin orange crawl. That is killer. Speaking of crawls, guys, we have a Nico crawl here. This is the Eclipse color. I think this is going to be awesome. That is such a natural color, and probably what I'll do, and what I have done last year, is throw this on the same big 1/8 ounce bullet hook here, the offset hook. I'm going to go in about a 1/2 inch on this, because you can see the gap here. It's a pretty good gap, so you want to go in a good 1/2 inch on this plastic, or it's not going to work out. But let's see how it does. But this is such a big piece of plastic, you need a little bit of weight to get this crawl down. And generally using this is what the same I use on the Helgermite, and it seems to work out pretty darn good, guys. And the hook, it's got a nice little place to rest up top. Although I'm a little bit crooked, but you guys kind of get the idea. If I would took a little bit more time, I would have got a little straighter. But that's how I'm going to run it. And that 1/8 ounce works great. And I'll tell you what, this is probably one of the ones I can't wait to throw. And that is the Streak Z Curly Tail. And that does kind of have a swim bait body, but that is the Coconut Ice Glow 4-inch grub. And I was wondering how to do this, and there's different ways you could do it, guys. You could probably put it on a weighted hook. Probably this chin lock is probably how I would do it. So let's try it out and see how it works. And this is a number size 3/0 hook. Man, I cannot wait to throw this. Just pull it up over the weight, pull it up over the keeper. It's got a nice slit in the belly. You can kind of see where you need to go in at. I think this is going to work out good. Look at that, guys. Look at that grub. You know that's going to catch some fish. I love that color. I love that pink color. But that is a 1/8 ounce. I think it's going to work out perfect. Now, if that is too heavy, guys, there's weighted hooks. Here's a 1/16 ounce weighted hook. You could use that right there. That doesn't have a chin lock on it, but you can still use it. But I'm going to start with this, and I think it's going to work. I can't wait to throw it. All right, guys, that is some of the ways I rig my soft plastics. I know it might not be the best or the most perfect way. I'm still learning, but I do like Texas rigging the majority of the time, and wacky rigging. You can't hardly beat it, guys. Coming up early spring, they say is a good time to wacky rig a Cinco or a Yum Dinger or your favorite stick bait. But I'm still learning on the size hooks and the proper weights to use. I know there's probably better ways to do it. But before I go, guys, if any of you have missed the last big catch, this was a fish. I don't even think in my original video I told you guys what I caught that trophy smallmouth on. So I thought I would take this opportunity to go ahead and spill the beans. But anyway, everybody knows the Rebel Crawl. This is the Rebel Crawl in the ditch, brown color. I was throwing this crankbait on February 8th, guys. And if you've missed it, it was a trophy smallmouth. So I was wanting to let you know, last year, I don't even think I threw this very much. The previous years, I threw it a lot. I caught tons of fish on it. I just got hooked on them swim baits and didn't throw it very much. But thought I would start off this year in the cold water and throw some crankbaits, and I'm glad I did. I caught a trophy smallmouth. And if you guys missed it, you can click right here. I was out on February 8th throwing this Rebel Crawl and hooked into a monster. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something out of it, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.